If you bowl a 279 against your opponent in a head-to-head match, you would expect to win pretty much 99 times out of 100. However, there was a PBA show where a 279 was not good enough to win the match. Now, I hope you're all sitting comfortably for this one because this is going to get crazy, and if you haven't seen this PBA telecast before, well, I'll just say this, prepare to be shocked. It was 1996 and the PBA Flagship Open was taking place in Erie, Pennsylvania. The first match featured PBA legend Johnny Petraglia against Bob Learn Jr. Bob was the local hometown hero who came in as the number 5 seed. He certainly had the crowd on his side and it helped him to get off to an incredible start in Game 1. He threw strike after strike after strike after strike. He looked unstoppable and had the first 9 strikes in a row. However, his opponent Petraglia was putting in an equally impressive performance. He had the front 6 but then went a little high, leaving the 6 pin in the 7th frame, but he struck in both the 8th and 9th frames and then struck out in the 10th frame for a 279. This was huge as it kept the pressure right on Bob and he had to strike in the first shot in the 10th to win. But Learn didn't seem phased and fired the first strike in the 10th to win the match. But now he had his mind on something else, a perfect 300 game live on television. The 11th shot did go high, but he still managed to carry all 10. And now the final shot where he has a chance for perfection and a place in PBA history. And you can see there a pretty perfect shot for a perfect 300 game. Now what a start to the telecast, and if you're Petraglia, I don't really know what you'd be feeling after bowling a 279 yet still losing the match. Now if you think that throwing a 279 in the first match and losing was pretty crazy, do not go anywhere because this is only the beginning. Things are going to get wild from this point onwards. On to Game 2 where Learn faced another lefty in John Mazza. Learn started off a little bit slower in this game, quite understandable after just throwing a 300 game. He started with a spare in the first frame followed by a strike but then a 10 pin in the 3rd frame. John Mazza however started very strong with the first 5 strikes before leaving a 7 pin in the 6th. But it wasn't long before Learn was right back on the strike train and he started throwing strike after strike yet again. He struck all the way to the 9th frame, which kept the pressure on Mazza, who could max out for a 268. Mazza did in fact strike out and kept the pressure on Learn, and it forced Learn to double in the 10th and get 9 pins to win. But once again, Learn handled the pressure and struck out for a 270 game. So 2 matches in and it's cleared this will be an extremely high scoring telecast. Both a 268 and a 279 have not been good enough, and already it seems like Bob is just going to pretty much be unbeatable if he continues this form. So you know how I said earlier that things just kept getting crazier with each match? Well, wait until you see match number 3 against Parker Bohn III, because this is where things do just start to get unbelievable. Learn struck in the first frame and Parker Bohn threw an opening double. In the second frame, Learn left a 10 pin, and now there was quite a bit of controversy. So Bob actually missed the 10 pin, but you can see here that he complains that a fan distracted him. The commentators say that a fan jumped up as he released the shot, but I also read in a forum that apparently it was a fan that was flashing a camera. Either way, Bob protested to the officials and they ruled that there had been interference from the fan, and they therefore allowed Bob to retake the shot, and he actually spared it this time around. This is a huge decision that obviously had a huge impact on the match. It's very interesting as I wasn't actually aware that this was in the rules at the time, but as far as I know this rule was later changed. So let's jump ahead and we can see that it's extremely close, with Learn taking a 1 pin lead with a max score of 280, while Parker can max for 279, and both players just keep on striking. Learn gets a great break in the 9th frame, tripping the 4 pin. Now Parker stepped up and struck all the way out for a 279, the second 279 in the telecast. The question is, will it be enough to win this time around? Well, it's pretty simple. Learn must strike 3 times in the 10th frame to win by a single pin. The first shot in the 10th, and it's a great shot, taking all 10. The next shot is almost identical, and then he steps up as calm as anything and gets the third strike for a 280 to win by a single pin. So yet again, 279 is not enough. This was just an absolutely outstanding display from Learn, and that's now twice in a row that he's had to strike out in the 10th frame to win. Now he moves on to the final match to play for the title, and his opponent is Randy Peterson. Now if you're Randy and you've been watching this from the sidelines as the #1 seed, well, you're probably going to be thinking, how on earth am I going to win this? I'm going to have to go and bowl pretty much 300, and he actually said this himself just before the match started. Now both players started very strong, and once again there was plenty of strikes. Learn had the first 5 strikes, and then Randy had the first 4, but then on his next shot he just went a little bit light and left the 2-8. But he bounced right back with a strike in the 6th frame. And then back over to Learn for his 6th frame, and he just leaves the 10 pin. So really that's kind of the only lack of carry that we've seen. It just seems to all the players have been carrying pretty much everything from the pocket. And then into the 7th, Learn just goes high there, but again it just seems to be tripping out everything from all over the lane, and just gets another strike there in the 7th. And you can see now heading into the 9th frame, and it is still incredibly close with both players trading blows. Randy's down by 11, and he simply just has to keep on striking, and you can see he gets a fantastic break there, tripping everything out, going high. But then into the 10th frame, it's a pretty decent shot, but just leaves the 10 pin there. And this pretty much just hands the win over to Learn, as he just needs a mark. And you can see here he gets yet another strike, and he manages to strike out for a 279 against Randy's 257. So Randy did play, just as well as all of the other opponents. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, the difference was literally just a 10 pin, basically. But this was just one of those shows that Learn was just, there aren't really any words to describe what he did. He broke a number of PBA records, including the 3 and 4 game TV totals. He set a new record of 850 over 3 games and 1129 over 4 games, which pretty much easily broke the previous records, which are 815 and 1070 respectively. Overall, his average over the 4 games was just over 282. I mean, that is astounding. And to be honest, when you look at the other finalists as well, the combined average was 276. And this completely broke the previous TV record for total averages. But I don't think we'll ever see a TV telecast like this again, because it wasn't just one player. Okay, Bob Learn completely dominated every single game, but all of the other players almost matched him. I mean, 279s were not good enough, and yeah, nobody could have predicted that, and I don't think we will ever see a TV show like that ever again. So overall, it was a fantastic day for Learn. He shot a 300 game, which earned him a nice $100,000, and he also won the title, which gave him another $30,000, and he got to bowl with all of his kind of family there and all of the thousands of people in his hometown. This is a performance that is one of the greatest in PBA history, and I think it is possibly the greatest PBA show that was ever televised. So that brings us to an end of today's video. I really enjoyed watching this show and kind of breaking it down, and it's just fantastic to see all of the bowlers playing at such a high level. I mean, clearly the pattern that they were bowling on wasn't anything particularly difficult, but you still can't take anything away from the players, and especially for Bob Learn, because to bowl, it doesn't matter what shot you're bowling on, to average over 280 over 4 games on TV and striking out pretty much every game in the 10th frame to win, well, that definitely takes some doing. So fair play to Learn. And yeah, I mean, I hope you all enjoyed watching this breakdown. Who would have thought that 279 would not be enough? Twice in a telecast. It's not enough to win. Well, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of this telecast. Maybe you were there. Maybe you remember it. Maybe even you remember watching it. Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you, bowling fans, and see you all next time.